Melania Trump just starred in one of the most embarrassing moments in modern American politics. At the New York Stock Exchange, employees had to be instructed to applaud with more enthusiasm during the promotional ceremony for her documentary. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. South Africa completely canceled the film's premiere. Amazon spent $40 million on a project that two-thirds of the production crew hopes will fail. And Jeff Bezos is at the center of it all. I'm going to tell you all the details in this video, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like on the video. Let's start with the New York Stock Exchange. Wednesday morning, Melania Trump rang the opening bell to promote her documentary. Sounds normal, right? Wrong. CNBC and Fox Business cameras captured an absolutely mortifying moment broadcast live to millions of viewers. Lynn Martin, president of the stock exchange, had to frantically gesture to the crowd on the trading floor, instructing them to applaud louder for the First Lady. I repeat, stock exchange employees were directed to fake enthusiasm for a vanity documentary. This reminds me of Jeb Bush's "please clap" moment in 2015, which basically ended his presidential campaign. But there's a fundamental difference here. Jeb Bush was running for office. Melania Trump is trying to sell a documentary that Amazon paid $40 million to license. $40 million. Let me put this in perspective. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary had a marketing budget of $3 million and was nominated for an Oscar. Melania's documentary has a marketing budget of $35 million and is projected to earn between $1 and $2 million in its first week. This isn't about art. This isn't about documentary filmmaking. This is about corporate power buying political access. During her speech at the stock exchange, Melania had the audacity to compare her documentary to the cultural impact of the Rolling Stones and Michael Jackson. Think about that for a second. The Rolling Stones defined generations with their music. Michael Jackson revolutionized the entertainment industry, and Melania Trump made a 104-minute documentary about 20 days of presidential inauguration planning. The comparison isn't just absurd, it's an insult to true artists. But here's what really bothers me. She maintained total editorial control. Brett Ratner, the director accused of sexual harassment by 6 women in 2017, had full access to the White House. But who really controlled every frame was Melania Trump. She chose the music, oversaw the editing, approved every scene. This isn't journalism. It's expensive propaganda with an Amazon logo. Now let's talk about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. 2 weeks before Amazon closed the $40 million deal, Bezos dined with the Trumps at Mar-a-Lago. The documentary was discussed at that dinner. 2 weeks later, Amazon offers $40 million, almost 3 times more than Disney's offer of $14 million. Do you really believe this was about artistic merit? Jeff Bezos isn't stupid. He didn't build an empire worth hundreds of billions by being impulsive with money. So why pay $40 million for a documentary that box office analysts themselves predict will fail? Because $40 million is pocket change when you're protecting multi-billion-dollar government contracts, avoiding antitrust regulations, and ensuring your cloud computing company continues to profit from federal contracts. Amazon Web Services has contracts with practically every federal government agency. The company faces antitrust investigations. Bezos owns the Washington Post. $40 million isn't an investment in cinema. It's a political insurance policy. And Melania pocketed $28 million of those $40 million directly. $28 million for her personally. But here's where it gets really obscene. Last Saturday, while the entire country was dealing with the murder of Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old nurse shot by federal agents in Minneapolis during a protest, the White House held a private screening of the documentary, popcorn served with white gloves, a full military band playing Melania's Waltz, Tim Cook from Apple, Andy Jassy from Amazon, Lisa Su from AMD, Queen Rania of Jordan, Mike Tyson, all munching popcorn while the country burned. And you know what the most revealing part is? Amazon employees were told they couldn't refuse to work on the project for political reasons. 2/3 of the production crew, 2/3, asked not to have their names in the credits. Even Julie Cohen, who co-directed the acclaimed RBG documentary, said publicly she would never work with Amazon again after this. When you lose the trust of award-winning documentarians, you've completely lost the narrative. South Africa, an entire country canceled the theatrical release. Not one cinema, not a chain, the entire country. Filmfinity, the South African distributor, had already gone through regulatory approvals. Ster-Kinekor and New Metro Cinemas already had confirmed bookings. And then last Wednesday, they canceled everything. The official reason: recent developments. But we know exactly what those developments were. The Trump administration dramatically escalated immigration tactics, resulting in deaths of American citizens by federal agents. South Africa has a deeply traumatic history with propaganda and the use of media to create political perceptions during apartheid. They recognized propaganda when they saw it and said no. Think about the historical significance of this. When was the last time an entire country preemptively rejected a film before its premiere? This doesn't happen, but it happened here because even international distributors recognize this isn't a documentary. It's a $75 million political commercial. And the box office projections are absolutely devastating. Between $1 and $2 million in the first week. Amazon spent $40 million to license and $35 million on marketing. $75 million for a projected return of maybe $5 million if they're lucky. That's a catastrophic loss by any business metric, but it's not about money. It never was. The target audience, Trump supporters, won't go see documentaries. They don't go to the cinema for reflective art. Melania knows this. Trump knows this. Bezos certainly knows this. So who is this film really for? It's for tech CEOs, for Wall Street executives, for international oligarchs. It's an excuse for networking events where contracts are discussed and political favors are negotiated. And this brings us to the broader point. This isn't about Melania Trump. It's not even really about Donald Trump. It's about how billionaires use their capital to buy access, influence, and protection. Jeff Bezos spends $40 million. Tim Cook shows up at the White House. Andy Jassy is there. All of them have massive business interests that depend on federal government goodwill. Meanwhile, the Washington Post, which Bezos owns, faces increased pressure. Journalists are being intimidated. The FBI is investigating reporters. And Bezos, he's at the White House eating popcorn. This is oligarchy forming in real time before our eyes. So here's my question for you. Are we going to accept this? Are we going to accept a system where billionaires buy influence so flagrantly, where $40 million can buy unlimited access to the White House, where a propaganda documentary receives more marketing funding than many rural hospitals receive in a year? If this analysis outraged you as much as it did me, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, leave in the comments. Do you think we should have stricter laws about how billionaires can influence politicians? How do we break this cycle? I want to hear from you.